Got me a new gun. It's a new model. I think a lot of people will like this. It's called a Glock 17. You might not be familiar with it, but I just found out about it, so we thought we'd bring it to you. How's that? Does that make sense? Yeah, Glock 17. We've not really done what you might call a review of the Glock 17. We had one with a suppressor once, but that was mainly about the suppressor. And now I own a Glock 17. After all these years, sometimes bad-mouthing the Glock 17 a little bit. I confess, I do, because I prefer the Glock 19 size. But I bought one. I traded another firearm for it, but I essentially bought it. This is my Glock 17, and thought it would do something a little different. I had it. You've seen it in a comparison video with something, but I haven't fired it. And I was taking it apart and looking at it. I thought, well, this is neat. You know, if you like firearms and you like semi-automatic firearms and you like Glocks or any kind, and you take it apart and it looks like it just came off the line. There's no crud, you know, anywhere. It's just neat because they don't stay that way, do they, very long. Even when you clean them up, they're nice, but they're not like brand new. So I thought, well, John, why don't we just do a video and start out with a brand new gun, and then since we're doing that, why don't we show people what I do? Because I get questions about that quite often. What do you do? What do you lube do you lube your gun before you shoot it when you get a new gun? How do you go about getting it ready to shoot? You know, what about that copper lube Glock puts on there? Do you clean that off? Is that, you know, I just get a lot of questions and have over the years about that. So I thought, well, this might be a good time to do that. We're going to shoot the Glock, but before we do it, I'll just show you what I do when I get a new firearm in, whether it's a T&E gun or however it comes to me. When I get a new firearm, now this one's special. They knew I was buying it, so it came with loaded magazines and loaded guns, probably even hot, you reckon? No, I just went ahead and loaded those magazines. The gun's not loaded. I went ahead and loaded them just to have it ready to go. But no, they don't normally come with loaded magazines. But you do get 3 magazines, don't you, and your back straps and everything. And of course I have replaced I put one of those straps on there, the large one. Did I? Yeah, the large one. Okay. So that's it, a new firearm I have never fired. And what I normally do is, I have been known to just come out and take a few shots with it and then go clean it. But most of the time what I do is take the firearm apart, and thought maybe you enjoy seeing it. You know, brand new Glock, you know, pristine condition other than being fired maybe at the factory. It's so clean. Look at that frame. Well, they don't stay like that very long, do they? I mean, they clean up just fine, and you can make it look just about like that, can't you? But it's just never been fired other than those whatever, the 2 or 3 rounds they fire at the factory. All right, so there we have it, a brand new, it's Gen 4. And what I do is I look it over and see how much lube or junk is on it. Some guns pistols especially, come with a lot of lube. And it's okay. I don't have any idea what lube it is. And you know, I use the Ballistol, and just for consistency's sake, what I do, especially since we're probably going to be doing a video on it, and I like to remove that variable since I don't know what lube is on it. Even if someone lends me a gun, I'll generally, you know, make sure it's lubed up with Ballistol. So I know lots of lubes work. Lots of lubes are fine. But I like to remove that variable, as I said, and just make sure it's lubed the way I lube it. So I can't be out here shooting and start shooting and it starts malfunctioning and then think, well, I don't know, maybe it was the lube that person used or the lube the factory put on it or something. So I know it's lubed properly. All right. Now, some I have to do a lot of, I've got the alcohol out here, and what I'll typically do is just, you know, get some on a paper towel or rag or something, and I'll just kind of go over areas inside and just make sure that, you know, the lube is off of it, whatever's on there. Now there's better things than alcohol probably, but I just go ahead and use something simple, get the bulk. It wouldn't really matter if I didn't get it all off over the long haul, but it's probably better to get most of it off, because Ballistol is it's not really petroleum based, so it doesn't mix with, you know, your typical gun oils all that well anyway. So, and that one that's not loaded with lube or anything. I know some of that copper stuff, that doesn't hurt a thing. It'll be gone after a while. Doesn't really matter. Okay, don't worry about the copper whatever on a Glock. And the barrel, you know, this barrel, it's really actually kind of dry. actually. I bought this in a gun shop, and what I'll do is usually take a patch and a little alcohol on it. Some of you are very familiar with alcohol, I bet, right? Rubbing and otherwise. I'll run that through there. Ooh, clean barrel, look at that. Pretty clean. And so then I'll dry that out maybe. And often I'll just leave it lying on the workbench, you know, in the work. Normally I do this at my workbench in the reloading room, of course. Okay. And because I've got the wooden table, I can spray Ballistol. I don't have to worry about anything messing up our expensive leather here. Okay, so at that, this looks very dry. I didn't bring a toothbrush with me. I usually will take a toothbrush and just, you know, just like when you're cleaning it, make sure it's all clean. And I don't see any lube there, and there shouldn't be a bunch of lube in there. Okay, not on the rails there. Looks good. Now what I'll do sometimes in the workroom is I'll just soak this sucker. I won't do as much on it, and I'll just, you know, get some in the barrel. Wouldn't have to do it. I just like the properties that Ballistol gives metal. It tends to, as I have said before, kind of turns it into an old iron skillet like I cook eggs on quite often during the week. It's cured, and things don't seem to stick to it as well. So I've got some inside there in the barrel, and I'll put some on a patch and do the same thing with the Ballistol. The alcohol is dried up by now, so I'll Ballistol a patch and run it through there. And I don't know, I always feel like maybe it helps keep things from sticking to it if it's been treated, so to speak. Maybe not so much a Glock barrel as some other firearms. It's just these Glock barrels are really hard metal. Okay, so then a dry patch through there. And that thing is ready to go as far as I'm concerned. Okay, it doesn't hurt if you have a little oil on the, of course, the barrel there, and where it links up. Not a problem at all. In here, that's dried out now. I might take a Ballistol, put a little in there, not too much. I'll usually make sure there's some in the grooves there, maybe the rails, especially start out with. Don't want to shoot it too dry, although Glocks don't need a lot of lube. And I use these little handy doodads. Drawing a blank on the name here on these. Guy sends me these. That's terrible, isn't it? I'll think of it in the description. But I've really discovered these and like them a lot. I'll put a little Ballistol on the end of those, like giant Q-tips, and then I can get it in there wherever I think a little bit might be good. Make sure the rails have it. Okay, if it's in those rails, I know we're good. And then I know you're supposed to put a little bit, just a little bit on these places. And then it's supposed to put a little bit there in the connector. I don't put much there usually. Okay, so that's about all the lube I think it needs. So that's basically it. And then I'll just bring it out and shoot it. And now I do something that I know a lot of people don't. 'Cause I run into people all the time. Their gun's actually kind of dirty. They just don't clean it until they feel like it needs it. But I typically clean a Glock every time I shoot it, which you wouldn't. Of all the pistols, you could get by without doing that. A Glock is one of them. You could probably shoot the thing for a year and not have to worry or think about that. But I just clean them. Hey, you don't know. The zombie apocalypse could start tomorrow, and I've got all these dirty guns. So I just like to have them clean. I never know which one I might, for sure, put in a holster and be carrying it. Okay? So I'm sorry if you don't like Glocks. You're going to hear a little Glock love. They tend to work. Now we'll find out. I might get surprised. But when I open up a new Glock, it's not wise to do it, but I would maybe have even carried this thing if I mean, really before shooting it. I am that confident in Glocks. Now you'll love it, you Glock haters, if I have to eat my words today, because I have not fired this gun. You could tell that. You know, if it malfunctions, we have all sorts of problems. But don't expect that to happen. What should we shoot first with a brand new firearm? We should probably shoot something that will go explode like that 2-liter right there. Okay. How about a can? Well, Let's see if the sights are on. They seem to be. They seem to be. Let's try a couple more 2 liters. All right. Gong. I think they might be on. Oh yeah. Now look at it. Looks a little different, doesn't it? These smoked up now. It will never be the same, but it will keep working, I guarantee you.